So this is the second week of our new firefighter orientation. It's a 4-week orientation. Today, our new firefighters are working on what we call forcible entry. So they're learning about the different tools that we can use to get into buildings and structures when things are locked or closed or jammed shut. So today they've worked on learning what the tools are that we use. They learned about the different kinds of building construction when it comes to doors and windows and openings for us to be able to get into buildings that may or may not be on fire where people are trapped in. They've learned how the proper position to hold the tools and use the tools, as well as how to actually force these openings both by themselves and as a part of a two-man team. So today we've been working on how to force doors that open inward and outward, as well as breaking windows and getting into structures that way. So in the first week of their field training, they went through several things. They learned how to use their air packs, the breathing apparatuses that we put on. They learned how to inspect and also put on their gear. The state's time to have all of your gear and the air pack on, their standard is 2 minutes. The Stafford Fire Department has a standard of 90 seconds. So our firefighters go above and beyond what the state recommended minimums are, because we want to be able to provide the most outstanding service to our citizens. Some of the other things that they did in their first week are that they learned how to pull the hose off of the fire apparatus, how to actually use that hose, the different hoses, configurations, and nozzles that we have. So we went through a lot of that with them as well. They got to participate in a city/county-wide training where they got some more education on things like RIT teams and maydays, so as well as search and rescue. So they learned how to actually pull civilians out of buildings when they're in need, and they also learned how to pull out firefighters, because it's a whole different set of skill on when they're in need as well. One of the days they also learned how to pull some of our longer lines and connect to fire hydrants. So again, we've got a pretty rigorous standard when it comes to how fast they have to be able to get a line off the truck as well as connect to a fire hydrant. So they worked on a lot of that last week. Some of our longer lines, in terms of lines that we pull up several flights of stairs, they're packaged in bundles. So there was a day where there was a good half of the day they were running up and down, about 5-6 flights of stairs all day long. So these guys have been putting in a lot of work. They still have a lot of training to go. In the coming weeks, we're going to be polishing up all of this. We're going to be going more into building construction in terms of what buildings are made of, what people tend to put in buildings, and how they react under fire conditions and fire loads. They're going to be learning a lot more about search and rescue, the written mayday situations, as well as how to cut holes in roofs when houses are on fire to get all that hot air and gas out, to make it a much more survivable space for any victims that are potentially in there, as well as our own crews operating. So these guys have about 2 more weeks even after this, so they've got 3 full weeks left to go, but they're putting in a lot of hard work to make sure that they are fully ready to serve the community as soon as they hit the streets.